Audiobooks.com Publishing presents Lift, Fitness Culture, from Naked Greeks and Acrobats to Jazzercise and Ninja Warriors. Written by Daniel Kunitz. Read for you by Joe Towne. Whoever goes in search of humans will find acrobats. Peter Sloterdijk. Prologue. It is the young who most reliably bring news of the future. Today's flash comes from my cousin Juliet, who has just entered the 8th grade. I don't know her well, or any other girls her age, but to my untutored eye, she seems a bit taller than average, thin though not skinny, with shoulder-length brown hair. She's girlish, even ladylike, and not particularly known in our family as big on sports. This makes it all the more astonishing when, while sitting around a pool with some other cousins of a similar age, Juliet announces that she has joined the women's weightlifting team at her school. That is news, not so much of Juliet, but of all womankind. When else in human history, but now, could her casual statement be possible, or even imaginable? Since when have women been encouraged to lift heavy weights, to form a team of weightlifters? Her announcement does not, however, faze the boys she's speaking with. All within a few years of her, not one finds it odd or surprising when Juliet nonchalantly explains that she and a friend joined the team, quote, because we wanted to start a new sport that would make us stronger. A generation earlier, when I was her age, and, what's more, for every generation preceding hers down to the beginning of time, a girl wanting to get stronger would have provoked snorts of disapproval, mockery, often disgust. Young women were not supposed to want muscles, were not to bother with being strong. Such desires were deemed unfeminine. And for a girl entering her self-conscious teens, like Juliet, it would have been especially unlikely. There might have been some boys in my junior high school who wished to pump themselves up into musclemen like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone's Rambo, but as far as I recall, we had no weight room. And while the majority of girls at my school may have hoped to get as skinny as Jane Fonda in one of her workout videos, they were far more likely to do it with cigarettes, Diet Coke, and fasting than with aerobics. Besides, lifting was considered dangerous for kids that age, just one of the many things that could supposedly stunt your growth. But in the autumn of 2013, the male cousins around the pool, reedy, pale, and more taken with coding than athletics, find it perfectly normal for a girl to do strength sports, as does the girl herself. Without realizing it, these kids are denizens of a world that has begun reconceiving the very idea of fitness. They inhabit a new frontier that a handful of adventurers began exploring about 15 years ago, just before the turn of the millennium. And two of the key features of this territory that these adventurers have inadvertently pointed out are the prominence of women and the acceptance of strength training. Girls hoisting heavy weights above their heads, women with muscles, girls who are stronger than many boys. These are some of the last remaining female cultural taboos. They persist in the East as well as in the West, yet these taboos are being rapidly broken down. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the sport Juliet adopted, though it is still largely unknown by the American public. In Europe and Asia, where it is hugely popular, teenage boys and girls will know exactly what is meant by the word weightlifting. It is emphatically not bodybuilding, which is what comes to most of our minds when we hear the clank of iron. It does not entail the most common lift seen in gyms, the bench press, nor does it have anything to do with hoisting enormous stones or pulling airliners with your teeth. Weightlifting consists of the two barbell events included in the Olympic Games, and because of this, it is also known as Olympic lifting, the snatch and the clean and jerk. The clean and jerk combines two basic and entirely common human movements. The clean in which you pull a weighted bar from the floor to your shoulders, and the jerk, which powers the bar from the shoulders to a locked arm position over your head. The snatch is more complex. With a very wide grip on the weighted bar, you heave it in one swift motion from the ground to overhead.